So welcome to our virtual event. I'm also the chair of our MA in International Security and Conflict Studies. So I will talk you shortly through the main features of the program, and we will have time for questions at the end. So my name is Markus Pauli. I'm an assistant professor in political science, and like you are now considering to study international relations, I did the same in Berlin and London. And then afterwards, I worked in the German Development Ministry, and then realized that I'm, very intrigued by the at that time new focus on microfinance, which are small loans to groups of women, often in developing countries. So I did my PhD on that and spent a year doing field work in South India. Later on, I moved to Singapore with my family, and I worked for NUS and Yale NUS and focused on research regarding global value chains in agriculture in both Vietnam and Indonesia. And now I'm focusing quite a bit on decarbonization, or the politics and policies of climate change mitigation, both in India but also the European Union. So I just want to start with praising DCU. So I worked at quite a few different universities, and I have to say that DCU is quite special regarding its strong focus on students. So it started out as, a smaller kind of third university in Dublin, and made a point in having, a very good ratio between students and staff, but also putting the students into the center of its operations. And I think that philosophy still is alive. So you will not be a number of like hundreds of students, but you will, especially on the master level, have a much, closer interaction with your lecturers. So the MA in International Security and Conflict Studies will equip you with tools to analyze not only domestic, conflicts within a country, but also international conflicts. So given the war in Europe at the moment, we all are, probably even more aware of the importance of such a master program than, probably some years ago. So you will have students coming from all around the world, and quite a few of them actually have background in, having worked on conflict or security issues. Your lecturers will also be from all over the world, but they will also have a whole range of different thematic focus. So some work on the political economy of conflict, others on the connection with human rights, conflict resolution, post-war reconstruction, or justice as a focus. And we have a lot of regional expertise. So we have colleagues working on the Middle East, on Africa, on Asian countries, Latin America, North America, and Europe. So you have a wide range of courses which you can choose from, and I will show you a few in a second. So there are two options to take this master program. You can either do it full-time, that takes around a year, or you can do it part-time, and then you have 2 years to finish. So I think some core features of our MA at DCU is, first of all, that we really try to not live in the ivory tower and be all academic and theoretical about the issues at hand. But quite a lot of our colleagues have worked in conflict zones all around the world. So they know the all-day struggles and the practice of, practitioners in the field. And we also have colleagues who are focusing on policy making and on policy analysis. So this link is a strong focus, and I think one of the core strengths of this particular master program. We have international renowned experts in both qualitative and quantitative studies focusing on conflict. So they will assure that you have the highest quality of academic training, but that you will also be exposed to a whole range of different theories and analytical frameworks. So, there are some universities and programs which are very much focused only on, for example, a quantitative approach to political science. In our university, you will have the whole range from qualitative and, discourse analysis ways of approaching the analysis of a conflict to fully quantitative ways of doing that. You will hear and be exposed to, courses which try to give you practical skills, so about communication, policy analysis, project management, and the like. But you will also have the opportunity to listen to current and former practitioners, politicians, people in the public, private, and civil society sector. So we have lecture series where we invite guests. So the 3 upcoming talks, for example, are the former foreign minister of Ireland. We have the ambassador of Palestine to Ireland, and we have podium discussion in the Department of Foreign Affairs between the head of school of law and government and the most senior policymaker in the Department of Foreign Affairs, focusing on the role of Ireland in the Security Council, which just came to an end not so long ago. Okay, so we will teach you about the intersection between different forces of globalization and how they interlink and interact, and in some cases cause security issues. So it will be an in-depth analysis focusing on the roots of conflicts. And right, so here are the 4 core modules which you all will have to take. So that's international security, resolving and managing conflict, international law and conflict, and research methodology, where again you will learn the whole range from qualitative to quantitative. The 20 optional courses which are currently on offer, they include modules like policing and society, a focus on European foreign and security policy, and also innovations in that realm. So you all might have come across the German foreign minister. She's now focusing on feminist foreign policy and how that actually translate into concrete policies on the ground, for example, at the moment in Ukraine. We have colleagues who focus on political terrorism, counterterrorism. Courses are offered on peace building, post-conflict, or the link between gender and security. Okay, so what we normally have as a requirement is H22, or in some cases also professional qualifications are accepted instead of such a degree. So that might be if you are or have been working in the armed forces or in the police force. That might also be a way of getting into this program, because as I said, the student body is very diverse, and we have also quite a few students who have been for example, in conflict zones several times, and now want to be able to have a more analytical understanding of the conflicts they were exposed to. Okay, if you are an international candidate, you will have to show an English language certificate. So DCU now also accepts Duolingo, which I think is probably the fastest and most reasonable option to get that done. Many students ask what one can do afterwards. So we have former students in a whole range of different sectors. So You can go into foreign policy making in like a Department of Foreign Affairs in Ireland or your own country, if you're not from Ireland. EU institutions, United Nations institutions. Some students go back to the defense forces or join them afterwards, for example, as analysts. You might go into, the police forces, security sector, but also quite a lot of students opt for the NGO sector, right? So for non-governmental organizations in the realm of peace building or conflict mediation or general, international development, where security quite often comes in as a decisive factor. But of course, we also have students who go into journalism here in Ireland or abroad. And, think tanks will also perceive that as a great basis for a lot of analytical work they are doing. Okay, great. So if you have any questions, we have a page with lots of information about how to apply. You will see all the specific courses which are offered at the moment. So if you just search DCU, MISC, then you will find it directly, or you can also, probably see the slides in Unibuddy and then click on that link. Okay, thank you very much for listening, and I hope you got a overview of what this course is about. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them into the chat, or you can always also send me an email afterwards. So if you just Google my name, Markus Pauli, and DCU, you can at any time send me an email.